Hi, welcome to a second class on Aristotle's Metaphysics, and we did book 1 or book alpha, I think it's called. We're now going to look at book 7, which is book zeta, and it's because in these two books Aristotle talks about substance. In other words, what things are. Yeah, we're talking about what things are essentially, you might say, yeah, fundamentally. At their most basic level, what are things? Yeah, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Now, Aristotle pointed out, and we saw this in the first class, that perhaps the pre-Socratics, and I'm not sure that this is a reasonable criticism, but he says perhaps the pre-Socratics, they thought that only sensible things, only the world that you can see around you, the world that you can perceive, only those particular things have substance. Yeah, that was really what the pre-Socratics were talking about, and they associated substance with matter. Yeah, because Aristotle thinks that we can define substance in at least 4 different ways. Yeah, he talks about substance as essence, and by essence Aristotle means the definition of something. We'll see down here that for Aristotle, definitions are what things are. Yeah, and that's hard to argue against, isn't it? The definition of something is what it is. Yeah, and so for Aristotle, that's one way of understanding what substance is, what a thing is. A thing is its essence, and its essence is its definition. Yeah, but there are other ways in which we talk about a substance, and that is universals and genuses. In other words, types. Yeah, we can think about substances as a type, as a form of something, a type. Yeah, like a species. Think of genus like species. Yeah, you have animals, you have foxes, you have badgers, you have elephants, and you might think of these as substances, yeah, particular things, in other words. Yeah, so you might use these two as the definition of substance. In other words, you might be talking about substance in terms of types or forms. And lastly, you might be talking about a substratum at the very bottom of everything. Yeah, something that lies within everything. Matter, yeah, you might think of this as atoms, something like that. That was certainly what Democritus thought, and so you might associate substance with atoms. Atoms and void was what Democritus thought. And that would be another meaning of substance. Yeah, and so remember that Aristotle had 4 different types of cause or explanation. There was formal cause, there was material cause, there were also extrinsic explanations, extrinsic causes. So the purpose, why you made the thing, that can also be a type of cause. And so you see that Aristotle is very concerned with definitions. He straight away starts with 4 definitions of substance. Yeah, you can define it in 4 different ways. Now, he also points out that others, and I want you to think about Plato, because we saw that Plato had a very interesting idea of existence, because for Plato, substance was something eternal, and it was not sensible things which had substance, particular things, material things. It was this world of forms, this transcendental world, where mathematical forms, for example, the triangle, the circle, these are eternal in Plato's world, and these ideas, these forms are eternal. They are actually substance in some kind of way. They lie at the basis of everything, and particular things mimic these eternal forms, and in that way they become particular things. And so Plato had a very, very different idea about what substance was, about what lied at the heart, about what lay at the heart of everything. And that was these world of ideas, this world of forms. And remember, this was a world which was known, but not seen. Yeah, it wasn't the visible world. It wasn't the sensible world. Yeah, this world of things we can perceive. It was a world that lay it was a world that lay beneath all of that, and particular things became particular things in virtue of mimicking this eternal world of forms, yeah, this world which was only known but not seen. Okay, and so Aristotle's going to move beyond these two positions, and he's going to argue that substance is essence rather than matter, and that's precisely where he starts. But I do feel as though he ends by admitting, well, by taking a slightly different position from where he starts, because he does end by saying that particular things, like this bronze sphere, is a mixture of two. He says that it's at one and the same time both form and matter. Both form and matter. Yeah, two different things at the same time. So it's this and it's form. And form, I would argue, is kind of like essence. Yeah. But we're going to see that when Aristotle says form, he means something different from Plato's forms. And so we've got to separate them, because Plato's forms were transcendent, and Aristotle's forms are immanent, and that is different. Yeah, Aristotle's forms are immanent, which means internal. Plato's forms were transcendent; they were external to particular things. Not so with Aristotle. Aristotle's forms are internal to particular things. Okay, but he starts by talking about matter, this stuff which the pre-Socratics supposed was under everything. And it's very straightforward and logical, right? That to think that, well, everything around us must be made of something. There must be something at the bottom of all of it. You know, there must be something basic at the bottom of wood, metal, air, water. There must be something. And some of the pre-Socratics thought it was water. Some thought it was air. Some thought it was fire. Some thought it was a combination, a ratio. Yeah, remember Empedocles, a ratio of these different elements.